Only two animal species that exist now in the modern world are called pandas. A small animal with a reddish-brown fur is the red panda, also called the lesser panda. The big black and white bear is the giant panda. Once they had a common ancestor, but then they evolved in two different ways. As a result, the giant panda is the representative of the family Ursidae, while the lesser panda is closely related to raccoons, skunks and martens. The giant panda can be found only in China, and not throughout its territory, but only in certain mountain regions of the central part of the country, the provinces of Sichuan, Shaanxi and Gansu. The giant panda's diet is almost 99% bamboo. Although they belong to the family Ursidae, they can hardly digest animal food. For the protection from bamboo chips, there's a thick mucus tissue in their esophagus and stomach. And the thumb on their paws has modified so that pandas can hold even the thinnest bamboo stems while eating. Giant pandas need around 40 kilos of bamboo daily, but they also eat animal food in small quantities. Eggs, small birds, animals and insects are an important source of protein. As bamboo gives insufficient amount of calories, the giant panda cannot afford to be active. The scientists have found out that the energy consumption of these animals is only 38% of the average amount of the mammals of similar weight. Thus, pandas spend less energy than a koala sleeping all day long. The daily schedule of pandas is rather uneventful. They spend 10 hours sleeping and 14 hours looking for food and eating it, and in doing so, they move no further than 20 meters per hour. The adult specimen can weigh in between 100 and 150 kilos. The maximum height is 1.5 meters. Newborn pandas are very small at the moment of birth. They are not bigger than 130 grams, meaning they are 900 times smaller than the adult animal. The famous black and white coat pattern takes some time to appear. At the moment of birth, the newborn are pink, blonde and toothless. The first dark hair appear in a week, but the fur itself starts growing 25 days after their birth. Young cubs are fed with the mother's milk for around a year, but they stay under mother's care for around 2 years. Comparing to other Ursidae representatives, pandas do not hibernate and stay active all year round, but still they do not like extreme heat. So as soon as the temperature rises, they move high into the mountains. The typical lifespan of giant panda is 20 years in the wild and around 30 years in captivity. As a rule, they give birth to cubs once in 2 years, and if twins are born, the mother takes care only for one of them. It is the reason for the slow population growth. Poaching and deforestation had put giant pandas on the verge of extinction. By the year 1976, only around 1,000 animals had been left in the wild. Then the Chinese government started implementing an environmental conservation program, and now the number of pandas has increased to 1,864. The native land of pandas is considered to be the area near the city of Chengdu in Sichuan province. The first bamboo bears in the world lived here around 4,000 years ago. Now Chengdu has the country's largest research and breeding center. The first inhabitants of the center were 6 panda bears that were rescued from dangerous conditions in the wild nature. 30 years later, the number of adult animals has increased to around 100. During that period, 176 bamboo bears were born within the walls of the center. One more conservation organization in this region is the mountain reserve Chengdu Panda Base and Center for Disease Control that is approximately 55 kilometers from Chengdu. Giant pandas live a more solitary life here. In addition to enclosures, they also have entire forest fields at their disposal. In a way, it can also be called a senior home for pandas. Those animals that can't take care of themselves are taken here and stay under the care of people. The Chinese language has given the giant panda over 20 different names: bear cat, giant cat bear, spotted bear, bamboo bear, and others. Nowadays, the names giant panda and bamboo bear are internationally recognized and equally used. Approximately 300 giant pandas are kept in zoos and research centers around the world. However, China delivers pandas to the countries on special terms. In particular, if pandas have offsprings, they should be sent back to the historical homeland. The giant panda is the symbol of the World Wildlife Fund. In China, the death penalty can be imposed on the killing of giant pandas.